In this chapter we study inequalities. In this video we're going to go through how to solve linear inequalities in one variable and represent the solution set on a number line. If you're revising, you can pause the video and have a go at questions 1, 2 and 3, and then questions 4 and 5, and that's it. Okay, hopefully from primary school you'll be familiar with this notation, which reads as x is greater than 3. The crocodile eats the larger number is what we're most familiar with, so here's the crocodile's jaws, and that means that x is the bigger one, x is greater than 3. This one reads as x is less than 2 because the crocodile's eating the bigger number, which is 2, so x is less than 2. If we have a line beside the arrow, it means it's greater than or equal to, or in this case it's less than or equal to. When we have x between two numbers, that means that there are two inequalities there, and you need to think of it in two separate cases really. So the best way maybe to do that would be to show you how to cover that up. So I would ignore that and just read that we've got x is greater than 1. So x is greater than 1. And then cover up the other inequality sign with the number, and we read that x is less than 4. So x is greater than 1, but less than 4. If you look at this next inequality, we can cover up the second half of it, the second inequality and the number, and we're left with x is greater than or equal to 1. And then the other inequality reads x is less than 4. So x is greater than or equal to 1, but less than 4. You might want to look at those and, just practically speaking, say that x is between those two numbers 1 and 4. Between 1 and 4 in this case, it can't be 1 or 4. Between 1 and 4 in this case, but can be equal to 1. Okay, let's have a look at some of these questions then. Number 1 says express the following inequalities on a number line, and we have x is greater than 2. So you go to 2 in your number line, and x can be greater than 2, so any number to the right. Because that's it. Part B, we've got x is less than or equal to 5. So we go to 5 on our number line, and we mark it, and then we draw our 2 seconds. Then we draw our line to the left, because it can be any number to the left. Now the difference in those two is I've put a solid dot here because that means if it's filled in, it means x can be 5, but in the first case it was empty or clear, meaning that it can't actually take the value 2, it has to be greater than 2. So anything bigger than 2, that's 5 or less. So if we take this one here, part C, just get rid of the first part, we've got x is greater than 2. So we go to 2, and it can be greater than 2. Now I need to be cautious, I can't really draw the line to indicate to the right because I'd need to see the other inequality. The other inequality says that x is less than or equal to 5. So we can go to 5 on the line and mark it. And then we can put the two together and say, well, it has to be bigger than 2, but less than or equal to 5. So it's anywhere in between. So we just draw a line to match them up. In part D, you can see here that the key points are 0 and 1. Sorry, 0 and 3. 0 it can be equal to, and 3 it can't. So 0 needs to have a filled in circle, and 3 will just be an empty circle. And then we draw a line because x can be any value in between 0 and 3. Question 2. Express the following inequalities on a number line where x is an integer. So if we look at that inequality, we could see that x is greater than 1 and x is less than 6. So it's between 1 and 6. Now it can't actually be 1. We would normally draw in a circle that's empty, and then a line to 6, and then an empty circle, which means it can be anything in between. But we're only allowed x to be an integer, so it can't be anything in between. It can only be the whole numbers between 1 and 6. So actually it can only take the values 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's it. It can't take the value 1, has to be greater than 1, can't take the value 6, has to be less than 6, and can't be 4.5 or 3.2 because x is an integer. In part B, we've got that x is greater than or equal to -1. So we could actually put our dot there already. And then x is less than or equal to 4. So we can put our dot at 4. And it can take anything in between as long as it's an integer. So we put in all the integers between -1 and 4. Question 3. Write the following statements as inequalities. So the first one says you must be at least 120 centimeters tall to go on the roller coaster. So at least means you have to be bigger than 120, but at least also means you could be 120, because if you're 120 centimeters you would be allowed on that ride. So we'll take the variable to be h because it's about your height. You'll always have to think about defining a letter. So h is your height, and it has to be greater than or equal to 120. Part B, there must be no more than 4 people sitting at the table. So the variable is the number of people at the table, so we'll call that P, and it's no more than 4, so it could be 4 though. It just says no more than 4, so it could be 4, 3, 2, 1. So it should be less than 4 or equal to 4. And actually in the context of this question, you probably should say that it's greater than or equal to 0, because you're not going to have -1 people at the table, or -2, but I think you would get away with just saying less than or equal to 4. Part C, I can only afford pens costing less than £2, so they must not have £2, because it has to be less than £2. So the cost, put C for the cost of the pens, and it must be less than 2, not equal to. Then part D, the price of milk varies from £1.40 to £1.90, so it could be £1.40 for the milk, and it could be £1.90 or any number in between. So the milk, we'll put the cost of the milk to be M. It can be greater than or equal to £1.40, and it can be less than or equal to £1.90, anywhere in between. Number 4. Solve the following inequalities. To solve these, you just treat them like equations, but don't change the sign to an equal sign. Just keep it as it is, but in your head think, right, I need to balance this out and get what x can be. So you'd start off by adding 2 to both sides, and you would get 3x is less than 15. And then you divide by the number of x's, which is 3. So if you divide by 3, you get that x is less than 5. Now, you don't get x being a set value, like the answer isn't 5, for example. X is going to be a range of values. So here we're saying x is any value less than 5, and that's the inequality solved. It's not a one number solution. Part B, we have 8 minus 3x is greater than or equal to 2. I'd recommend having the number of x's always positive. It makes it easier to work with. So I would add 3x to both sides. That will cause us less problems or no problems down the line. I then want to take that 2 off to get it away from the side with the x's on it. So 6 is greater than or equal to 3x, and then we've got 3x there, so we can divide by 3. And that means that x is less than or equal to 2. Okay, you can leave it like that, or you could also write that answer like this here with the x first, but they both mean the same thing. Now that's actually trickier than what I've made it look like there. Some people might think, right, I'm going to take, if I start that question again, if you're happy with the technique I give you and want to do it all the time, then just scroll on. But if you think, oh, there's a different way, or you're interested, then listen to this bit. If we take 8 off both sides, then we get minus 3x is greater than or equal to minus 6. And then we divide by minus 3 to get x on its own. And we get x is greater than or equal to 2. But if you look at this one, this method, we got x is less than or equal to 2. And we didn't get that here. Got the opposite way around. And you need to make your teacher will go through in more depth, but effectively where the mistake is in when you multiply or divide by a negative number, it basically makes it incorrect. And what you have to do is reverse the sign. So be very, very careful. Alarm bells there when you're dividing by a negative number. So just to repeat myself, when you divide by a negative number, you have to change the direction of your inequality sign. That's quite confusing, so I would avoid it. I would prefer just to use the technique that I've given you here. Okay, 5a. I'm going to actually get my little square from earlier on, a rectangle. This is how I would do the question. I would cover up that first, or look at the first inequality and solve that. So we've got minus 13 is less than or equal to 3x plus 1. Take 1 off both sides. Yep, and then divide by 3. Get minus 14 over 3. Then I would cover up the other inequality. And we have 3x plus 1 is less than or equal to 6. Take 1 off both sides. And then divide by 3. Then at the end, we've got x in the middle here, and x can come together. And we can say that x is greater than or equal to minus 14 thirds, but less than or equal to 5 thirds. Okay, part B. Do the same thing, cover up the, I haven't got it all covered up because that rectangle is not big enough. Stretch it out. So the first inequality says that 5 is less than or equal to 3 minus 4x. From the previous question, when you've got negative x's, I said to add that to both sides to get rid of the negative. Now we can take 5 off both sides. Then we can divide by 4. Then we can look at the other inequality. So x there was less than or equal to minus a half. Now for some reason, this is stuck. Okay, I think I'm good to go now. Okay, there we are. Now this one says that 3 minus 4x is less than x. You want to get rid of the smaller number of x's, which is actually the minus 4x. So add 4x to both sides, and you get 5x minus 7. I would then add 7 to both sides to get 5x is greater than 10, or 10 is less than 5x. then divide by 5 to get x is greater than 2. Now, x is greater than 2, but it's less than or equal to minus half, which if you think about it on a number line is nearly sort of contradictory. It can be less than or equal to minus a half, which means anywhere to the left hand side, or x can be greater than 2, anywhere there. That is two separate regions. Either x is here or x is here. It can't be in both at the same time. So when that happens, you keep your inequalities as two separate inequalities, and that is your answer. So this here, if I draw it in a number line, 5/3 and that's minus 14/3. X is any value in between, which is one region. When you have one region, it's a one double inequality. If you have two regions, you have two single inequalities. That's a wee bit technical, so think that through. Part C says find the integer solutions to the inequality. I'm going to get my rectangle again and cover up the first one. Sorry, so we've only got the first one. And we've got 11 is less than 4n plus 3. Straightforward enough, take 3 off both sides and divide by 4. Then move it across and look at the other inequality. Now 4n plus 3 is less than or equal to 24. So 4n is less than or equal to 21. And then divide through by 4. So n is less than or equal to 21 over 4. Or if you want to think of that as a mixed number, that is 5 1/4. Now we have to find the integer solutions to that inequality. Normally our answer would be that n is greater than 2 but less than or equal to 5 1/4, and that's what would go in your answer line. Because n is an integer, we can only take values in between that. It can't be 2 because it has to be greater than 2, so it could be 3, then it could be 4, then it could be 5, but we can only go up to 5 1/4, so we can't go any further up to the next integer, 6. So our final answer is in red there. It's 3, 4, or 5.